Michael Morbius.
You've been given a gift.
Not exactly.
Time to let go of what you used to be. Discover who you're meant to be.
All our lives we've lived with death. Why shouldn't they know what it feels like for a change? Just accept who you are.
The bad guy.
How does it feel that this film's finally coming out? Are you excited for fans to actually get to see it?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's like been 2 years. I mean, we made it just yonks ago. I can't actually believe it's coming out, to be honest with you. So, yes, I am excited for people to see it. I hope people enjoy it. And I hope people go to the cinema to see it as well, because, you know, it's a movie.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah, 100%. Is it right that I read somewhere that you said it was Karen Gillan who gave you a little bit of advice that made you join a comic book movie? Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what happened there?
Yeah. I phoned Karen and said, you know, what's it like? And you had a nice time? And she's like, yeah, I'll go for it. Go, do it. So, you know, I did. Good old Kaz. I mean, she's a seasoned pro. You know, she's made about 9 of them.
And would you say from the days on Doctor Who that you're basically a spoiler-free zone now? You know exactly how to deal with all those kind of questions. You can keep it under lock and key no matter what.
I've got better at that, keeping, you know, sort of giving a little bit of information away just enough. But no, look, everyone slips up on that, don't they? Especially with you canny journalists asking your canny questions, trying to find out what's what.
I'll try not to, don't worry. I won't.
No, you're all right, don't worry, bring it on. I'm fine with it.
Is it fun? In this one, I really enjoyed that, you know, you got to let loose a little bit with your more villainous, darker side. Like, you haven't really had much chance to do that. Is that enjoyable to lean into? Especially that dance sequence is great, the little dressing up bit. Do you enjoy doing that?
I did enjoy doing that, actually. And I did enjoy leaning into all the villainous stuff. Long may it continue. It's always quite fun playing people on that side of the story, I think. And this was an opportunity, I think, in a film like this. It does allow you to lean in. The form of it allows you to lean into those tropes and genres and ideas and you know what I mean, angles a bit more. So I tried to let the reins off, I guess, a touch.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, God, I didn't overthink it. I just turned up and did it, to be honest. But
yeah, and is it quite nice that, like, he's not an outright villain? Like, you do get the kind of empathy and sympathy with him in how the story develops. Was that important to you, that it was this well-rounded person?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, there were way more scenes in it that really supported that. There was a whole sort of sequence with the girl in the bar where Milo met her a scene before, and then they went back and he sort of fell for her, and then she really hurt him, and then he went on this big killing spree. And I sort of missed that part of the story actually now, because that didn't make the film. And I think it gave it a bit of context, you know, to see him do it. Because I think, as you say, I think you do need that. I think you need, you know, there has to be a degree of empathy. You need to like your villains, don't you? You sort of want to, you know, you kind of want to hang out with them. You want to hang out with Hannibal Lecter a bit.
Has this kind of given you the itch to do more comic book stuff? Or is it very much, you've had that taste, you can tick it off and move on? Yeah,
no, I'd be open to, I mean, I don't know how it all works, if you're allowed to sort of go and do something else, but God, I'd jump at it. I think it's, because you know, I think you can be quite bold with it as a form. And I think you can also, not in this sort of movie, but I think in others, you know, it allows you to be quite funny as well, if the part's there to do it. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to have another go.
Just finally, obviously, you mentioned it earlier, like people going back to the cinema to see this film.
Yes.
What are you most excited about them to discover about it or enjoy about it?
Well, look, you know, it's a new Marvel character for them to sink their teeth into, as it were, and I'm sure Michael Morbius will be one that will keep returning, and so hopefully it opens up a new world, which will continue in multiple films beyond this.
With all of these release date changes, and originally it was going to come out before No Way Home, obviously, did you have to end up changing anything with the film, especially with that Michael Keaton connection to this film?
I think that the whole idea of the different verses really comes from the Spider-Verse, who was a movie that was released prior to Morbius. But then, as long as when we were postponed and I got more time, if you ask any director on the planet, he would always take more time in the editorial. I mean, if I could be in editorial for 10 years, I would stay in editorial.
Adria, this is your first experience of this kind of comic book world. What was it? Was there anything in particular that surprised you about it? Or did it just feel like shooting another film just in a slightly different world?
I think the surprise was more when I watched the film. I think everything, Daniel did such a good job of sort of making everything tangible. The sets were, I could open any drawer and there was things inside. It really felt like we were in a lab, and that sort of helped me, and I'm pretty sure it helped Jared as well, sort of feel grounded in the space. But when I watched the movie, the special effects sort of blew me away. You can only imagine so far, and I think Daniel was good to show us sort of like the specs of what it was gonna look like, but it was an early version. So when I watched the movie, I was so impressed with the outcome of everything. Did
you work together with Jared on developing Michael and Martine's relationship? Because we get little bits, but we haven't had much of the backstory. So did you work together to flesh out where they've been, what they've done?
We had a conversation before the movie started, and he works in a very specific way. He likes the transformative aspect of acting. So we didn't really have to work on it. I did my homework and he did his homework. And when we sort of showed up, obviously we had a silver lining right in the middle, which was Daniel sort of guiding us both to not be in two completely different movies. But when we showed up, it was all there. I mean, we had a good skeleton to come out of, which was our script. So no, not really. We didn't really talk about it as much. We sort of just immersed ourselves in the world, and that relationship was very engraved in it. And I don't know, I felt comfortable enough to go there with him.
Daniel, when you were making this, did you have to know anything about the wider plans with Sony? Were they telling you to put certain things in because they are connected, like with Venom and the likes, or were you allowed to just tell your own version of this story in this world and everything else would just happen as it does?
I mean, it was a bit of both, but I had certain moments where they would take me into a room, which they have on the lot, which is soundproof, and then they inject a small chip in your brain, and then they tell you certain things, and you're allowed to exit. But you have to know certain things, of where things are guided. But they allowed me to develop the idea of the picture and also the style, because Morbius should be like a very unique character, and it should be an outsider, and I wanted to have the opportunity to kind of do my own New York, and and give a bit of my version of what I think this side of Marvel should be.
Did you have to keep the secrets of No Way Home for a couple of years as well? What was going to happen in that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you should think of that when we started, Endgame hadn't been released either, yeah. Right? So there were tons of small secrets that were, I remember when somebody whispered to me that, Tony Stark was going to die, and certain things, and yeah. And then those were secrets that I had to hold very.
Well, you did a really good job because you didn't tell me anything.
Of course not. They would kill me. I have the chip in my brain. It's a very real thing.
Yeah. Well, next time you work together, you'll just have to pester him for the secrets, Adria.
Yeah. You know I will.
And then watch my brain explode.